let's just continue with that for one moment. Which city do you feel you live in? Which city?
I live in Jerusalem most of the year.
And?
I'm in Santa Monica.
Okay, and in Jerusalem, do you feel it's innovative? Or something makes it innovative?
Jerusalem's a really, really interesting case, a special case that probably exceptions that prove rules in terms of cities that have been around for a long time. The whole history of urbanization going back 6,000 years to Jericho nearby, to the relationship of migration of the Syrian African Rift Valley that comes up, the comings and goings of people from Omar ibn Khatib to Jesus and Joshua and everybody who passes through the land. So there's a lot of stories here in terms of where narratives arise. Sometimes they cancel out each other. Sometimes they build together. So I mean, I think Jerusalem's an interesting city that's rediscovering itself and reinventing itself as it has over the last 3,000 years. Tel Aviv, brand new city. I just like, comparing Berlin.
But let's refer to Jerusalem for a minute, because maybe it's not politically correct, but maybe not all the cities in the world needs to be innovative.
Innovative, we should define what that term is. We never did. Does anybody want to give a shot? I mean, I would say it's disruptive the deployment of disruptive technologies that are able to expand the economy, increase the level of participation of people within the markets at lower cost. That's what enables them financially to be innovative and to be productive. I have to celebrate Robert Schiller, who won the Nobel Prize this morning, exactly for his work on financial innovations that we follow a great deal. And now Tel Aviv could be a financially innovative city. In a way, the Office of the Chief Scientist enabled the process that brought us here today with the DLD event, 30 years ago. So there's a whole engagement that goes on at a central government level, at a local government level, and links those together with the global economy in a way that can be extraordinarily productive and engaging over a long period of time. So Jerusalem has been engaged in a lot of people over a long period of time. You got about 800,000 million people living there. About 3.5 million people are interested in it.
He's diplomatic. Bjoern is dying to say something.
I mean, I was going to also get to what does innovation actually mean, and I think that's otherwise the conversation is kind of all over the place.
It'll just be a slogan.
There's probably different perspectives on it. In my world, innovation is about solving big problems that cannot be solved by one person individually, but that require the collaboration of multiple people coming together. And that's why we see innovation happening in cities. Historically, we've seen it in, Paris was an innovation hub, Venice, Vienna, multiple places in history have been those hubs where people came together and solved big problems. And for me, innovation is not about, art for me is not innovation, or painting a picture, or doing something cool and that has no impact. Is for me not relevant innovation. Maybe it's innovative, but it's not something that I think we really want to care about if we want to advance society and move things forward. So I think if we talk about disruption and about changing the world and say that that's the kind of innovation that we want, then that changes the conversation. And I think that's something that we all want to work on. My co-founder once said the world's biggest problem is that there's not enough people working on the world's biggest problems, and I think that's something where for example in Munich there's some great companies. My dad right now works, for example, in Munich on a company that transmits information between satellites with laser, so can build up big constellations, satellite constellations. Now, and this is innovation, right? And this can have a really, really big impact by allowing us to change the way our agriculture works and or transportation, many different areas. So that's the kind of interesting stuff that many times we don't know about, and we talk about a lot of stuff in media and kind of consumer oriented things that many times don't really have that big of an impact.
Scott, I just want one question before that. Shahar, I want to be more concrete. The city that you are in, first of all, which city do you live in? I don't know, you're all over the world.
Yeah.
Which is the city you think you refer to as your city?
In the last 2 years, we made an interesting journey, and it's been Israel, Russia, UK, and US, and it was. I think we got very interesting perspective with different cities, and which might be relevant to a question about the city of innovation. We found, for example, for myself, I see Tel Aviv.
I'm going to be specific. Which city are you living in? It doesn't answer
I
that.
do. Because of what we do now, I happen to be in all those cities constantly. So we travel every month around all those cities. But it gives a good perspective of how those cities are different. And for us, it was launching disruptive technology in the last 2 years and see how differently it's accepted in different cities. And in that perspective, Tel Aviv was really exceptional. And today, I think there are 3 components that related to the change. And how cities are actually willing to be innovative is by acceptance, support, and engagement of authorities. And when I mean acceptance is that the people are looking for change. Some cities you found they are so conservative, they actually keeping this conservativeness. And
give us an example so we know what you have in mind.
We do a lot in Russia, and it's an amazing market, huge
He's
market.
allowed to say that. You were born in Russia, right?
Yeah, I was born in Moscow and grew up in Israel, and it's a huge market, lots of potential, but it's very, very conservative and not supportive. So, for example, when you launch something in Tel Aviv, I think people are willing to try it. They might not use it after if they don't like it, but they are willing to try. And that's the best. It's when people are ready to grow and want and willing to grow, that's a base for every change. This is one. So
wait, you're getting to a point that I never thought about. You're saying that a city needs to be willing to try something and to fail. Not only people. We always talk about people that are willing to fail. You're saying that also cities...
That's a combination. So I said acceptance by people, supportiveness by people, and also engagement of authorities. And I'm coming to this third point, but it starts by acceptance, and I saw just in Tel Aviv or in Israel in general, people are willing to try, and they have their opinion, but they are willing to try. They are looking for new things. Supportiveness is the second thing. So when we started, in every country we do, it's a very difficult business. We connect thousands of moving objects with thousands of people in real time, and it's not an easy task, and all the people are in hurry and have their own problem, and we are not perfect as well. So it's difficult. But when you have, and we did it the same over the last 2 years in every country, and what we found different is that when we do it in Israel, people are supportive. So we failed, we did lots of mistakes, but they understand what a challenge we are. Maybe because most of the people are startups,
But maybe here they were supportive because they were your friends. Where in other place in the globe were they supportive?
Same. I mean, in other countries we got also very good, supportive, close community. But when you come to the forum like this, it's also very different. For example, I found in other countries, except of San Francisco, where people are supportive as much as in here, is that when you come, again, we are trying to solve a difficult problem. So the only thing you can support and help us to do that, or you can be critical. And in Russia, for example, for the first year when we've been struggling to raise the service across all this huge country, we got so much of the critics, while I'm saying, if we are not trying, I mean, if not us, who will be doing this? Exactly. So we're trying to make it. Now they're all happy because we succeeded to make it, but the way was totally different in terms of supportiveness. Now the third one is the cities, the city authority. From early days, I think Tel Aviv was very supportive. Ron Huldai himself was, raving about Get Taxi, using it, and not only about Get Taxi, in general, all about services. I mean, we see lots of startups around that are supported by leaders and by the city authorities,
okay.
And which is not happening.
So Shahar says, be supportive, supportive, supportive. Scott wants to take you a different place.
I have a hard time getting my head around this idea of exactly what innovation is. I'm sorry?
No, you said it's hard for you to take your head that way.
Oh, no. No, that's not what's... I can bring my head this way, because there are people over here. So, I think the most important question is how in a city do people feel powerful? I think there's an epidemic of people feeling powerful, and I'm so glad you used the DIY term here, because companies like Get Taxi, there are cities left and right that are clamping down on the Get Taxis and the Ubers and these companies like that are disrupting the old, some of the industries like taxis, or you all know Airbnb. In my city, New York City, right now, in New York State, there's a clamping down of people who want to rent their apartments to other people, and the city and the hotel chains don't like that, and they're powerful, and so this idea of people being powerful, of DIY movements. It's this question of how do you really enable people to be micro entrepreneurs? How do you allow enable them to connect and form community? And not get in the way of that and encourage that. And I know that may sound like sort of fluff or something, but I think that's a real rubber hitting the road on how the cities are gonna face the 21st century. There's an enormous opportunity. I mean, the essence of Get Taxi is you have people who need rides, and you have people who have cars, who are trying to make a living, and making that a more efficient thing. Airbnb, the same thing. There's 1,000 different slices of this sort of collaborative consumption, this sharing economy, this idea of how do people. I mean, I'm in the business of finding the moms with twins in a city who want to find the other moms with twins in the city and help each other out. I'm in the business of trying to help the people who want to build Android healthcare apps in Paris find the other people who want to build Android healthcare apps in Paris, and that's the power and the potential of the internet. There's only a few things that the internet is supposed to basically do. And it's supposed to help you get to information and help you, do a few different things. But one of the core is, how do people find each other? How do you find the others? How do you find the others? And find the others that want that ride right now. Find the others who you can collaborate with. And I think that thinking of a city as this, a city is made of people, and how the people find each other and unleash the potential that comes from there is really at the heart of it.
But I want to ask you something very specific, because you're talking sharing, and I feel you're right. But in New York, this is what makes New York innovative, sharing.
I don't. Actually, it's funny. There's a group called Peers.org, which is a bit of like an industry trade group based in the U.S. With the sharing economy. They use the word sharing a lot. I say sharing because that's how people sometimes refer to this economy. I don't really like that word. I'm in the community business. I'm all kind of It's I think that's just too fluffy of a word, but it's what's it about? It's about how do people sell with each other, buy from each other, share with each other, help each other, rent from each other, fund. I'm Kickstarter. How do people fund each other? How do people loan each other money? How in the future will people insure each other? I mean, let me throw out to you a crazy idea of that is going to happen in the future. That's going to be really, really, really hard, which is the insurance industry. I know you're all going to now tune out because you may not give a shit about the insurance industry, but think about this. The essence of AIG and Hank Greenberg didn't invent insurance. Insurance came from a community, from a bunch of people together. This is the land of kibbutzes or something. Insurance came from a bunch of people saying, hey, let's pool money together so in case something bad happens to one of us, we can help each other out. Now, what is the internet but this engine of people connected and being able to help each other out? The insurance industry arbitrages and extracts tons of profit from this idea of essentially people pooling their money together. I guarantee you, come back to me 10 or 20 years from now, and insurance will be disrupted because people will will be finding ways to pool each other money in groups of, you and your 100 top, sort of friends and acquaintances. What does this have to do with an innovative city? I've lost myself.
This is right the point before I continue, because I do want to hear from Frans a little bit about Amsterdam. But I promised in the beginning that we'll talk to the audience. And over here we have Jerusalem, we have Amsterdam, we have San Francisco, New York, Munich. First of all, is there anybody dying in the audience to talk or give us an example from a different innovative city? I'm sure some of you guys that I don't even know. I saw somebody from St. Petersburg before, but I think he left. Any other cities which can give us a great example? You're so quiet. You came to DLD to talk, to bring ideas out of the box. Anybody? We have to go to our panelists back? Okay, think of something, and I will be back to you. So, Frans, I'm with you. Every city has its own DNA.
What's your city?
Sorry? Okay, yes. Wait, where are you from? From Paris. Okay. And your name is? Yael. A little bit Israeli in the background?
Yeah. I'm both from Israel and France, and I'm running in Paris a web agency. I have deep insights to share with you today about Paris and Israel. In Tel Aviv.
Innovatively? Are you through the
innovatively and culturally, actually. The culture in France is not well known to be the most shareable in the world, and the competition there between startups inside the city is tough, and I have some remarks about the spirit of Tel Aviv. We can learn a lot in Paris from Tel Aviv, probably from Munich, and probably from maybe Spain, etc., because of the culture. We are not the ones who share so much, who support innovation so much. And from my backgrounds, I'm sure that if we are not about to make the step, forward, to ensure that the sharing economy, to disrupt the ideas and innovation, I'm not sure that Paris will continue to lead on that field.
Okay, so
this is a deep problem. I'm sending you a dark picture about that, but I'm very sorry to say that Paris is not the one that it was used to be.
I don't know if it's a dark picture, because we do want to because we do want to go to Paris all the time, but this is a way that Yael is looking. You are from?
Hello, I'm Sylvie Chin from Clear Karma. I'm a Paris...
From?
Clear Karma is my startup. It's a Paris-based startup, so I can speak about it. We started our project in Vienna. We got accelerated in Munich, in Berlin, and Paris. Right
and
now.
Which of these cities are the most innovative? The three of the ones that you just said.
For the moment, I would say the place where to be as a startup is Berlin, because as you mentioned, you have people who are willing to try things and to support you when you have something new and to tell you, let's try it, before telling you this is not going to work.
Okay, so in Berlin you feel you're supportive and there's sharing, etc.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to Frans, because we didn't hear, you were quite quiet this morning. Anyhow, when I was starting to talk about the DNA of a city, we're coming back to Tel Aviv the whole time, even though I'm trying to push us far, but this is not, this is probably because Tel Aviv has DNA and entrepreneurship and innovation in its blood, since the 66 families that founded the city. But I'd like to hear a little bit about the DNA of Amsterdam, and what is Amsterdam's DNA, and what are you doing in Amsterdam to market and to enhance it?